Hello, Steeler Nation. I know it's been a little bit, but I am back again and here to talk about the end of the season, which unfortunately did not go the way the Steelers wanted it to go. But at least the Baltimore Ravens did not make it to the Super Bowl. They lost in the AFC Championship yet again to the Kansas City Chiefs, the team that nobody is going to get past until we can figure out a way to beat Patrick Mahomes because the guy owns the league. Stryker, Steelers should be winning the Super Bowl. Fire Tomlin. We were playing behind the best quarterback ever in Tom Brady. Steelers need to fire Tomlin. We can't get to the Super Bowl. Who's going to get past Patrick Mahomes? Answer me these questions, Steeler Nation. Because I sure as hell don't know the answer, because the San Francisco 49ers had an all-star defensive line. I mean, Young, freaking Hargrave, guys that could just come in from every angle. They didn't have to blitz. They could rush four. That was the Giants' way to beat Tom Brady in 2 Super Bowls, including the undefeated season. They had an all-star defensive line. Still could not stop Patrick Mahomes. Got him to overtime. Couldn't beat him in overtime. Tough outs. Guys, this is our live show. Questions, comments, whatever you got, I'm here for you. And it's been too long since I've been here. I've been on a hiatus, taking vacations, selling my company. It's been a crazy couple of months. But I'm back for you. What do you have to say about it? Robert C. Stryker, Cooley man in the house. Thank you, Cooley. Always good to talk to you, my friend. Here we go, Steelers. Thank you, Roddick. Great to hear from you again, my friend. It's been too long. Press Graves, of course I'm going to hear from you, Miles. It's the top of the show. He's always here. He knows what's up. What's up, Cooley? Surprised by all the cuts so far? Not at all. We were talking about these on some of the podcasts before. I'll actually tell you the only one that surprised me. I already told you, Chooks lost his job. He's getting cut. That's $11 million we can't pay. Same thing with Trubisky. Lost his job. Too expensive to be a third quarterback. He is gone. Trying to pick up Mason Rudolph, probably for less than what we would have retained Trubisky for. Now, the one that surprises me was Presley Harvin III. Don't get me wrong. I think the cut is valid. I think that we gave him 3 years to show us what he could do. The only problem was he could not show consistency. Killed us. Absolutely hurt us in games. And when we're playing on such a slim margin of not turning the ball over and trying to have the defense win us games, we cannot have a bad punter. It just does not work. Those 3 will never work. So, Presley, good luck to you in your life's work. Maybe another team will pick you up. I honestly thought we were just going to retain him just to have some competition in training camp because it doesn't hurt you. I mean, check still cashes the same way until we cut him right before the season starts. So that's the only aspect of Presley Harvin III that surprised me. But fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me a third season, shame on Presley Harvin, the 1, 2, 3rd. That's it, baby. Out with the old, in with the new. Might have to draft a punter. And I know how a lot of draft nicks specifically do not like to draft punters. There's certain positions you don't have to draft for anymore. Kickers, punters, placeholders, fullbacks. 4 positions you don't have to draft. You can pick up quality players, all 4 positions, without utilizing a draft pick. So if you're dipping in and getting a punter, you're using it up for maybe some depth piece or a piece that can become something down the line. That is the stuff you have to start worrying about moving forward. Excellent question, Cooley. Love hearing from your friend. Keep them rolling. Miles, thoughts on Arthur Smith. Now, I have some unique thoughts on Arthur Smith. These are thoughts that no one else is talking about Arthur Smith, and it's why you tune in my show. my little Steeler Nationers. So here's my point of Arthur Smith. First, the good. He took Ryan Tannehill to an AFC championship game and a 1 seed. That is saying a lot. That is saying a lot. I like the way he utilizes the passing game. I like the way he utilizes route concepts that build off of each other. I'm a wide receiver. I watch this stuff exclusively. And that's why the play action game is integral in Arthur Smith's offense. Option, play action. I was expecting that with Canada. Honestly, I was. Where was it? We had no play action, no options. With no options, we couldn't move the football. The only option, run, pass. Falter, gone. 3 and out. The bad. This is my unique perspective on Arthur Smith. We are going all in on a rush offense. In a league where prolific passing offenses are getting to the Super Bowl and winning Super Bowls. Sure, an old head like myself loves 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Is it the proper time for the pendulum swing to be ahead of the pendulum and start slamming the 3 yards in cloud of dust and say, you go out there and try to stop us because you can't? Because everybody's built to stop 4 or 5 wide receivers now, having 3, 4 corners on the field? Look out. If it's the pendulum swing, it's going to look like a home run because we're ahead of it. It's something that the Patriots did. But if we're off and the rules are still written the same way they are, we are going to continue to have a very difficult time coming back from scores down. It's what we watched all year. A solid rushing attack is not going to put up 21 points in a quarter. It's going to kill the clock, might put up 14, but you're not putting up 21, 28 in a quarter with a rushing attack. So that aspect of it, when I know the defense isn't allowed to play defense anymore, hell, I just watched highlights of the Pittsburgh Steelers, 05-10, Joey Porter, freaking Harrison, freaking Clark, freaking Polamalu coming down and blasting people over the middle of the field, making other teams worry about catching a football, decapitating people, taking people off on a stretcher. That game is gone. Defense cannot assert themselves anymore. It is a new game where you have to get turnovers as opposed to knocking people into the dirt, because then you have great hitters like KZ sitting on the bench for 3 games, which is atrocious because that's the game of football. It's a physical game. It was always a physical game. Now it's not. So that's why I am more apprehensive about a run-first offensive guy in a passing league where the defense isn't allowed to defend the damn pass. That's my thoughts. You can disagree with me if you like. I don't mind. Throw it down there. Let's see your comments. Robert, that terrible break on the late punt crushed the Niners. Absolutely. It can come down to special teams in any game. Poor Ray McLeod, my friends. A guy we loved. A guy that looked awesome until he got destroyed in one of the games. Then was very skittish kind of returning punts for the rest of his 2 years or year and a half after that. Love the guy. Want nothing but the best for the guy. I felt for him when he crumbled, when he fumbled that kick return. That sucked. Or punt return. That turned the tide in the game, gave KC an opportunity to start taking control of that game, which they did. And ultimately got another Super Bowl. Now, am I upset that Kansas City won the Super Bowl? No. As a Steeler fan, we've got 6. Niners have 5. KC's got 3. I don't want anybody at 6 yet. So I'm rooting for the less. Kansas City got my vote. Rooted for Kansas City. Am I upset about Taylor Swift Travis Kelce? Hell no. More Taylor Swift. More Travis Kelce. Why? Simply put, Taylor Swift has done more for the female viewership of the NFL than any freaking Pink October ever has. Say it one more time. Taylor Swift has done more for the female viewership of the NFL than any Pink October ever has. Let's get rid of Pink October. Taylor Swift, you're playing the halftime show. Bazinga. Women watching. I can talk with my wife about games now. I can talk with my girlfriends about games now. It's just the way it is. Like it or hate it, she is great for the game of football and for your women having some interest in the game of football. Mike Roddick, 49ers lost that game, but hey, that's why they play the game to finish. And I forgot my other point I wanted to say about the 49ers. You made me remember it here, Mike. We were watching Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, last player taken, last quarterback taken in the draft, in which we took the first quarterback in that draft. And he's already played in his second NFC Championship game, first Super Bowl. Pickett, you've got a lot of work to start making up for what the last quarterback in your draft has been doing in this league. Sure, they're a good team. They got talent all over the board. But he's also a pretty smart quarterback unless he's consistently pressured, which Kansas City was able to do. Keep him in the pocket, keep him pressured, blitzed at the right times, forced him into bad throws at the right times. That's their game plan, and they won out. John Maulers, happy Valentine's Day. It's a great Steelers day. No more Chooks, Percy, and Mitch, and 12.7 mil in cap space. Looking at the cap right now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see where we're sitting according to, because I was waiting for this to actually fix up since we've had it. The projected cap right now, they have the projected cap total at 259 million. If that, adjusted salary cap, 245 million. And our adjusted cap currently is 249. We are currently at 4 million under. Total, everybody 13 million under. So we got to still make some moves to get under the cap. Stryker, who are we cutting next? Let me see who we got here. Cam, Fitzpatrick, Deontay, Alex Highsmith. All of those guys are not getting cut. You can restructure Cam, Watt, or Fitzpatrick. I think DJ's in his last year, so you usually don't restructure a guy in his last year, but you can re-sign DJ to a new contract and cut his amount now. And I say he's worth it. I know a lot of you guys disagree with me about Deontay Johnson, but when Deontay Johnson isn't on that field, our offense doesn't work at all. Our passing attack is even more anemic than it usually looks. I'm a big Deontay Johnson proponent. I think he's a keystone piece to our offense. So that is a guy I would re-sign. We get a little bit more cap space, probably about an extra 5 or 6 mil with a new sign. We're cutting Allen Robinson. He's still here on here. That is 10 mil off the books, getting rid of Allen Robinson. We are under the cap with those two moves. Boom, boom. James Daniels, I don't think we're getting rid of him. He'd save us about 11, 10, 9, 8 million. Seumalu's not going anywhere. Pat Peterson could be an interesting cut just because he's no longer starting as an edge corner anymore. He's no longer worth that 10 mil a year. So if he's cut, we gain back 6 mil, 7 mil, nearly 7 mil. 6.8 mil is what it comes out to. Cole Holcomb is another one we're starting to talk about. That is a $5 million saving, actually 5.4 mil. Just going off of quick math here. We've got options. Those are the only real big options I see for being cuts. Everybody else is very, very like in the pocket as far as being productive versus production versus how much money we spend on them. Maybe Deontay KZ, if we cut him, we save about $3 million, it looks like. But I think he's a good piece. I think he's our last of our heavy hitters. Everybody else, we're on rookie contracts. We're a very young team. We have got a lot of money locked into some big contracts here on defense because we're still on a rookie quarterback, and it looks like we might draft another rookie quarterback. So this is going to be an interesting offseason for us. Maulers, don't go after Fields. It wouldn't cost much. It wouldn't cost touch. I wouldn't touch Fields with a 10-foot freaking pole, no matter what draft pick it cost me. Fields is not worth a draft pick. Any. Fool's gold. If they cut him, sure, I'll pick him up. No way am I giving up something for Fields. They're starting to talk, maybe he might be worth a first. No way is Fields worth a first. None. Zero zilch in this NFL. And Steelers are smart enough not to pick up a quarterback that they can't get for free. And I'll even check out some free agents here as we're talking to see what we have for, the positions for free agency at quarterback. I think Cousins is up this year. Yep, Cousins is up this year. Tannehill's up this year. Us getting their offensive coordinator. Possibility of coming to Pittsburgh? Only if he plays for nothing. Briskett's up there again. Trubisky's on the board. Tyrod Taylor and Mariota. This looks like, and Jameis Winston and Sam Darnold. Baker Mayfield. Teddy Bridgewater. Minus Mayfield, this looks like 2 years ago when we picked up Trubisky. All the same names. Brisket, Truby, Tyrod Taylor, Mariota, Darnold, Winston, Minshew, Bridgewater. Wash, rinse, repeat. Josh frickin' Dobbs. That's a guy I pick up. That's a guy I bring back as a third. Cheap third. No questions asked. Bridgewater's always been productive too. Like, this is funny. Flacco. Flacco's still there. I've always liked Flacco. Carson Wentz still on the board. Matt Barkley. Mason frickin' Rudolph. Mason Rudolph's getting signed. That's what I feel about it. Tim Burrow! Hey, Stryker! You and another commenter's made fun of me the last couple of years for saying an average punter would be much better than Tomlin's pet Harvin. How you feel about that now? Love it, man. Started the show on it. It's time we move on from him. Said, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me 3 times, Robert. Shame on Presley Harvin the third. Yoder! Hey there, Stryker. Been a minute. What do you think about the players the Steelers cut? With my birthday coming up on Friday, one of my birthday presents is a return trip to the Hall of Fame. Awesome. I still have never been to the Hall of Fame, Yoder. I'm really jealous about that. So I would love to go to the Hall of Fame. Now they have a special Steelers thing going on right now too. So really cool thing at the Hall of Fame. And I got to do it as well. Hey, hon, you need to put on a shirt before you get on the show. Yes. So I told you at the top of the show, fully expected the cuts of Chooks and Trubisky because both of them lost their positions. Those are done. Also fully expect Robinson to be cut as well. He just was not cut yet. Fully expect Robinson to be cut before free agency. Other than that, we'll have to see some restructures here and there. Presley Harvin, it hurts me a little bit because I like his potential. He just never lived up to it. And that sucks. But it's the right call. Brian Davis. Rihanna from the Bills got cut. I see him punting for us. I'll go over here and look at the punts. See which punters are available now in free agency. Since we want to talk about the big players on the board. Brad Wing was still on our roster, I believe, at the end of the season. And I believe that's another person we might be bringing in. Sanchez from Indy, Johnson from Houston, Townsend from KC, Bjarquez from Cleveland, Bailey from Miami, Morstead from the Jets, Mann from Philly, Presley Harvin, a third from Pittsburgh. And Danielle Whelan, nobody's picking him up. Actually, he's exclusive rights. Still can't pick him up. He's still locked into the Green Bay team. So there she is. You getting ready for bed, sweetheart?
Yeah.
All right. Viola's going to bed, everybody. I'm sure she has something to say here to Steeler Nation. What do you have to say, Viola?
Go Steelers.
Go Steelers. Good night, sweetheart. I love
Good
you.
night.
I'll see you in the morning.
Good morning.
All right, sweetheart. Tim Burrow. Mike Tomlin is number one in NFL history for the only coach to go this many consecutive years without winning even one playoff game yet. He's about to get a big money extension. There's plenty of coaches that have gone far more years than Tomlin without getting a playoff win. Plenty. Pressgraves. Let's get that former Bills punter, Aruza, or somebody like that. He had false allegations made against him, tarnished his football career. I believe he's still on the Bills roster. I believe that stuff is cleared, and he's still on the Bills roster. I do not see him listed as a free agent on Sport Track. So right now, that is a pipe dream unless he's cut. Tim Burrow. Just as illegal immigrants are now treated better than American citizens, the true Steelers fans been deluded with fake Tomlin Steelers. Don't agree with any of those positions, and I don't get political on my show. I'm going to be now reading your stuff before I post it. Robert C. Harris Warren can get more than 3 yards at a shot. Those guys have already shown they've done more with less. Build that offensive line. That's all I care about. Center, right tackle, then later pick up a guard. That's what we got. Easy peasy. Boom, boom, boom. Center, right tackle, pick up a guard. Thoughts on Fields? He belongs in. That field needs put out to pasture. Would not give up a draft pick. Only take him if he's cut. Yep, not going to that. Nope, still talking about the same crap. Brett Short. Steelers will draft Sam Hartman, and he will become the next Brock Purdy. I'm fine with the Steelers picking up another quarterback no matter where it has been done, or no matter where it's done in the draft. We need one. We're at that situation where we only now have one rostered quarterback, and that is Kenny Pickett. Kenny Small Hands Pickett. Hey, guys, I got my hands. Kenny Two Gloves. He doesn't fumble, though, so not going to get out of small hands. He's a better guy than that. But I'm fine with anybody being the next Brock Purdy. Miles, what's your draft order? What are you targeting first? First round, cornerback, safety if there's a stud athletic safety. Inside linebacker, still a possibility there, but center is very, very, very high on my list. Absolutely high on my list. Now, Cooley's saying offensive line, defensive line, linebacker, corner. Exactly. That's what we're talking about. Getting a compliment quarter, though, Corey Trice, if he comes back healthy, that guy might be the steal of last year's draft. Like, I am so high on Corey Trice from Purdue. Long, lean, fast, tall. Man, you got that on the other side of another long, lean, fast, and tall corner? Guys, we are going to be tough to beat if we got two long, lean corners. Especially when we play against guys like Flowers. We play against guys like Chase in our division twice a year. Cleveland always has good receivers as well. So look out. Look out if we can get those guys going. But still, if the opportunity is there, take it. Take it. But we still need another banging safety to play with Fitzpatrick and an athletic bang. I wanted Hamilton. I wanted Hamilton the year we drafted Pickett. And look what he's doing with the Ravens. He's a great player. That guy would have been a perfect complement to Fitzpatrick. That's the kind of guy I'm looking for in these drafts. Seahawks had a gaping wound because of half the last 13 years have been championship caliber talent, and the coach is massively unfirmly allowed. Wash, rinse, repeat with your arguments, man. We've heard them a lot. Thoughts on Justin Fields? We talked about that. No one cares about pre-Super Bowl titles. Exactly. That's the way it's been. I like that one. I'll take this one, Turburo. Pittsburgh fans have always been by far number one, having the most female Steeler fans. Chance, probably because they're not, probably so not because of Taylor Swift, but it's done a lot for the league. Lot for the league. More than any Pink October. Female Steeler fans, proudly fans. No team is not Taylor Swift, no Swiftie, real football fan, but Steelers football, female football fans are. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Fields is a running back. Fields, yeah, he's like a poor man's Lamar Jackson, actually. Hard-nosed football hasn't happened in Pittsburgh since 2 decades ago, but Pittsburgh female fans miss that and don't care about Taylor Swift nor your Swifties. But we've been a bit more heavy on the ground these last 2 years, and I don't know why you have not been able to see that. Brett Short, I would take a shot at Baker Mayfield. I wouldn't be against that at all, Brett. As far as for being a backup, would not be upset about that. Maybe we could trade for TJ for Clayton Tune. Yeah, I know that's a joke. This is a Houston guy that loves the Houston Cougars. And he loves Houston Cougars as well. Dates them exclusively. But Tune is his guy. He wants him in Pittsburgh. We've been talking about it in all the drafts. That's the way it goes sometimes. No, I'm giving you the difference. Sometimes saying a player's salary and not including the dead cap money that cuts as potent as don't live to believe and make more cuts. All the numbers I gave you tonight, Tim Burrow, or the money that goes back on our salary cap because I'm subtracting the dead cut money from the salary money. That's how I do stuff, and I do it on the fly because I got a quick brain. I'm good at math. Just sold my company. I had to do a lot of math for that. We are high on the salary cap, and that you're right, man. Never in history the Steelers been this far above the salary cap. We're over $50 million above, and that you could include dead money. Exactly. And that's because we went hard last season in free agency, and we went so hard last year that it's infecting this year's salary cap. That's why I wasn't expecting us to go that hard last year. I really honestly wasn't. And I was really surprised that we did. We filled every single hole on this team before the draft. And honestly, if we didn't get slammed at safety and slammed at inside linebacker, we would have been a much better team. Much better team. Just getting that many people destroyed in the season. Like, you can handle 1 or 2 injuries at any position when you're stocked like the way we were. We went 4 or 5 deep in injuries in some of these positions. That killed us. Absolutely killed us. It was tough. Yeah, Arezia for the Bills was cut this afternoon. Okay, well, thank you for correcting me, Brian. Good to see you again, my friend Brian Davis. It's been a long time, my Facebook pal. Yeah, that's a guy I'd pick up. I mean, he was cleared. So, can include dead money. So if you want free agents, you're going to have to be major cuts coming, more than restructuring TJ and Minka. And that's the aspect too here. So like when I said we cut, let me go back here to going back to our salary cap. Our salary cap. Here we go. So like when I say we save $10 million from cutting Allen Robinson, it's because he's an 11.9 mil cap hit, but he's a 1.9 dead cap hit. Sure, you're going to carry the cap, but that's your savings as a subtraction. 10 mil in savings. Dumping him. We dump Patrick Peterson. 6 mil in savings. That's one you got to think about. Got to actually think about that. Daniels and less, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7.5 mil you save on James Daniels, but he's a productive player. Larry Ogunjobi's an option, but you don't save too much if you cut Larry Ogunjobi because he's a 13 cap with a 7 mil hit, 7 mil dead cap. So you're only saving 6 mil on that cut. Something you think about, but I don't know if you're making that move. I think you start working to restructuring. Maybe you restructure Larry Ogunjobi. Maybe you restructure. You definitely can offer him a new contract because he's in his last year. Deontay Johnson is at a 15.8 mil cap hit, 5.8 dead cap. This is a guy you can offer him a new contract and drop that 15 mil down to 5. And you save 10 mil on a new contract with Deontay Johnson. Then you can talk about restructuring the top 3. TJ Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick, Cam Hayward. They're the highest paid players on the team. Highsmith is number 5. Those 4 people can be restructured because they're new contracts. Cam Hayward, I don't know if you want to restructure him. I believe he's in the last year of his contract. Let me check. Yep, this is his last year of his contract. You can. You can restructure. You can spread it out a little bit, but he's probably not playing after this year. Maybe another year after that, but I don't expect his production to be anywhere near his production has been in the past couple years. He's already took half of the year off last year getting injured. He's starting to reach the end of his career. So those are the types of things we've got to start thinking about. I know what you're saying about dead cap. It's all good. Miles, I would target Mims, right tackle from Georgia, first round. Second, I'm going for a center. And that would be a good option as well, Miles. Absolutely a good option. Yeah, I'll give you this one. I always like this take from you, Burrow. I'm personally very happy Steelers are giving Mike Tomlin big money extension because this will allow for more trade value for him than if we just had 1 year left on the contract. I don't think either really matter, but I do like your trading Tomlin aspect because it gives the Steelers draft pick. There's his winning percentage has already shown he's a winner in the league. Winners will have jobs in this league, unless you're a cheating winner like Belichick, who can't get a job in the league now. Look at that. We can discuss that too. That's pretty interesting stuff. So we'll have to see. Miles, Flowers might not even be playing football anymore. There's awful allegations coming out about him. Oh, serious? I didn't hear anything about Flowers yet. Like, I've been working really hard on my off in my personal life, selling the company, doing all that kind of stuff, trying to get all the people up to speed in the new company. I missed that. So if you guys want to talk about some allegations, start throwing them up there. We'll get to them. Megs, how are you, Meg 20? Stryker, is Kenny the future? I'm told that if this first read is covered, he panics and the play is over. Can he develop? I hope he can. I think I honestly, he was able to read receivers in college way better than he's been able to in pro. But the problem is he only has 2 options in pro. Under the Canada offense, he only had 2 options. He didn't have 3, 4 options. So something, whatever they're trying to do in that respect for Kenny, am I throwing the baby out with the bathwater yet? No. Why, Stryker? Because we had a quarterback that we drafted in 1970 by the name of Terry Bradshaw and took him 4 years to become a starter, and even put him on the bench in the 1974 season to Terry Gilliam before he regained his starting spot to become the first 4-time Super Bowl championship winning quarterback, and still does not get any kudos for that. Not mentioned in any top quarterback poll. The only thing that matters are Lombardi's. He should be 2 behind Brady. Why? Nobody else has 4 other than Brady. At Montana. That's about it. Those are the guys you talk about. Those should be your top quarterbacks ever in the NFL. But we poo-poo him because he's a country bumpkin. He don't know. He can't spell cat. If you spot him, the C and the A. That's a big Raiders quote back in the day, making fun of the intellect of the quarterback that always annihilated the Raiders. And if it wasn't for the 76 season, with all of our running backs getting hurt in that AFC Championship game, Madden wouldn't have a Super Bowl. Think about that. Pretty interesting stuff. And Madden's considered a better coach in a lot of these crazy circles than Noel. Noel took a laughing stock of a franchise into the greatest single, dynasty that the league had ever seen in the Super Bowl era. I mean, there were some great dynasties pre-Super Bowl. Green Bay was pretty good coming into it. Cleveland had a lot of years where they were great. A lot of years, 8 in a row about. But man, what Noel did with a team that never won a playoff game, giving them 4 Super Bowls in 8 short years, that is something to be really hang your hat on. And to me, best coach ever to be in the NFL. Yoder, always a rare treat. Go back to the Hall of Fame in Canton. I only live 45 minutes south of the Hall of Fame. And what a great opportunity to stock up more Steelers merch in the gift shop. Awesome. Debbie! Hi, I love your show. Oh, my Steeler Valentine, Debbie Dickerson, on the show. Thank you so much, Debbie. Love you. Always love your input. Let us know if you got questions or comments too, but I love that comment for the Valentine's Day show. Thank you, Debbie. Miles, I'm excited this year for a competent offensive coordinator to see Kenny's growth. They need to give him a proper chance. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for putting on your shirt, Viola. There was no way I was letting her. She's in a sports bra. At that age, no way. Daddy's the protector. Miles, I was watching Tavontre swear from the Longhorns that Guys is a monster. Would pair well with a new guard of Benton. I'd be fine with that. I'm surprised we didn't try to trade Chooks. Actually, I kind of am too, Miles, because that started to be the con MO. You know, we tried to trade everybody. We got a draft pick out of Dots, and we didn't get anything out of Green. But that was the way it goes. We could have gotten something. 5th or 6th, I think, maybe for a core or for Chooks. Yeah, maybe. Flowers has been accused of beating his girlfriend and having his brother hold her at gunpoint. Disgusting stuff. If it's true, he's under investigation. Yeah, you're right. That would definitely kill that kid's. And that sucks because he's the best wide receiver they've ever drafted. Like, their best wide receivers are free agents. Mason, Anquan Bolden, Crabtree. He kind of sucked for them, though. Who else played for them that was big? Gee, like, they've never had great receivers. Like, all of them were like, oh, frickin' the other guy, the Hall of Famer, Mighty Mouse. Gosh, what's that guy's name? Hall of Famer, best pound for pound wide receiver, 5'10", came from the frickin' Panthers. Smith. Man, that guy was good. That guy was really good. Tomorrow, Steelers superfan Stephen A. Smith just released a big ESPN editorial about America's homeless not getting $1,000 a month like the immigrants so he can talk on ESPN, but you're going to say, dude, I don't talk politics. Politics are fucking bullshit. Fuck your politics. Fuck everyone's politics, because politics are just billionaires making you guys argue against each other. Because, guys, you got to figure it out. The billionaires are the effing problem in this country. They're the ones taking all your money, not the fucking immigrants. So get your head out of your own asses, because you're making less, you're getting less, and the billionaires are making you think it's because of the immigrants. Knock the shit off. I'm done with politics. Keep your shit in your own lane. Miles, can we all talk how TJ got snubbed once again? How the fuck does that happen, Miles? Absolutely. That's, I am madder about this year than I was about the time he got snubbed against Darnold. He had better stats than Darnold when he won it. The 3-time, possibly 4-time should have been defensive MVP. Sure, you can split hairs about that one year the Patriots corner got it. You're talking about a guy that's leading the league in sacks 3 years. Nobody's ever done that before. Nobody. White, I think he's tied with White. That's it. He does it again? I got double teamed more. You're a freaking mentally challenged. If you think for 1 second that Myles Garrett is even the best defender in his division, which he is not, the stats show it. Want to see the stats? You want to see the stats? I will show you the stats. Gonna go against him head to head. Myles Garrett. Looking up Myles right now. Boop, boop. TJ Watt. Last year. 1 interception in 17 games. 1 interception. 8 passes defensed. 4 forced fumbles. 3 fumble recoveries. A touchdown. 19 sacks. Led the league. Touchdown also leads the league for defensive fumble returns. 68 tackles. 48 solo. 19 TFLs. 36 quarterback hits. Myles freaking Garrett, not Pressgraves. Myles freaking Garrett. I'm going to stack these just so I can see them from each one, both at the same time. Myles Garrett, one less game played, 16. 0 interceptions. 3 passes defense versus 8. 4 forced fumbles, they match. 1 fumble recovery, that's 2 less than our guy. 14 sacks, way to go! 6 games without a sack. Way to go, Myles. 5 less than our guy. 42 tackles, way less than 68. Hell, my guy had more solo tackles than you had total tackles. 17 TFLs, 2 less than TJ Watt. Quarterback hits, 30 to TJ Watt's 36. You ask me, what world does any person think that Myles Garrett is a better player than TJ Watt, a guy that made a splash play in every single game that he played in? A sack, a fumble recovery, a turnover, an interception, a pass defense, or a touchdown. He was stacking stats every game while Myles Garrett had 6 clean sheets in a row. And you give that lump of clay defensive MVP over the best player, one of the best players ever played in this league. The only thing I'm happy about, Myles, only one thing. You think TJ Watt is happy that Myles Garrett won Defensive Player of the Year? Not at all. You think he's going to be motivated next year to show Myles Garrett how much better a player he is? You can bet your damn ass he is. And that's why I'm saying look out for TJ Watt next year. He's in his prime. Nobody can stop him. And if the coaches are on the refs about holding them, we're going to get a hell of a lot of calls. So jealous of Debbie. I love you too, Rob Coley. And how Cam finally won Walter Payton the Man of the Year. That's the only thing that took me off the ledge for Defensive Player of the Year award. That is the only thing, Myles. So thank you for bringing up 2 of my biggest talking points. Guys, much props. We've got to give everything up for Cam Hayward finally winning Walter Payton Man of the Year. He did it. My dog's in here to gloat. Oh, really? Yeah, Myles Garrett. He's better player than TJ. TJ, what? What? With a question mark? We don't even know what he is. Myles is the best. Shut up. Go lick your ass. Sweet. Tomorrow. Thank you, Stryker, for including the dead money in your estimations. I always appreciate that when you do it that way. Yeah, I always subtract out because dead money is going to be a part of everything no matter what. I was clearly just trying to say cap savings. And by cutting that player, that's how much money is going to be added to the cap. Definitely. And you're right. A lot of people don't necessarily do that. I saw a lot of the money thrown around. Steelers cut so much money off of the roster, but it did not include dead. I include dead because that's the stuff that mattered. DC in the house. With 1 quarterback on the roster, should we be a little nervous? No, we're going to pick up a vet. I will not be surprised at all if we don't re-sign Mason Rudolph before the start of free agency. He's on a roster. We're allowed to do these types of things. Got a Bengals cat at my foot, Bengals dog at my right hand here. We've got a fish now. The fish is actually kind of purpley. Maybe the beta fish is a Ravens fan. I think we're going to have to say that. Might have to say that. Point is 15 million above. It isn't how much the Steelers have to get rid of because Omar make more like Andy Waddell and Mr. Free Agent guy. We need to make a huge amount more cuts. Now, we just have to do some restructures and probably about Robinson's off. That's 10 mil right there. We're under the Mendoza line if we get rid of Robinson. So I fully expect Robinson to be cut. Aren't you in the billionaires after selling the company? Not quite. Not quite, but I can live large overseas now, Robert. I've got Thailand. I've got Thailand and Filipino money. Thailand and Filipino millionaire money. Seriously, got to consider it. Belize is an option. Heck, I just saw one of the islands too. Oh crap, which one was it? Shoot, I always forget which one it is. It's off the coast of Colombia, Venezuela. But there's no income tax anymore for expats, and there's no capital gains taxes. So like I'm like, well, crap. Maybe I should live there for a couple years when I get my money out of the out of the stock market. You got to start thinking about that kind of stuff, guys, when you get to this point at the end. What the heck happened to my screen? Why did it just do that? It just got blurry for no reason. Oh, I probably spit on it because I was laughing so hard. Tomorrow, Steelers have become so mediocre that their needs cannot be met through the draft alone. So they need to cut closer to 40 million total, not 15 million, so they can get free agents they need. They actually were very well stocked last year, in my opinion. Honestly, it came down to offensive coordinator. I mean, as much as we want to harp on Kenny Pickett, he won 5 games that we could have lost. He brought us from behind in 5 games that we honestly could have lost. So I don't know so much about that being the biggest factor. They did an awesome job about restocking an inside linebacker from getting rid of everybody but Robinson. Like, that was a hell of a job. That was a better inside linebacking crew that we had when they were healthy than we've had in the last 4 years since Bush was healthy. Like, that's the type of stuff that they did. I love the guys that they brought in at safety. I love the guys they brought in at corner. I mean, really, everybody had a spot. I still think we need to have a dedicated playmaking slot corner because we haven't had that since Hilton. Guy we never should have gotten rid of. But other than that, like, we don't have a whole lot of holes. And all those guys that we signed last year were 2-year contracts. They're all still on the roster. So we don't have to fill a lot of holes. We got to fill right tackle now, doing that in the draft. We've got to fill punter, probably doing that in the draft or after the draft. Got to fill quarterback. Going to sign a free agent. Going to probably pick up another quarterback in this draft. This is a deep draft for quarters. So looking forward to picking up a decent quarterback. Erwin, are we losing money releasing Chooks, Mitch in the upcoming? No, you're gaining money. I don't think their numbers are still up for what they were. But I remember when I used to go over it on the show, I remember like cutting Chooks was around 10 mil. Cutting Trubisky was about 7 or 8 mil, just going off my memory. That's about what we gained from those guys. And then cutting Presley Harvin, probably about 2 mil because he wasn't making much. He was a 7th round punter. I don't think his numbers, because he would have been in the 4th year of his contract. I'd be surprised if he'd even reached 2 mil. So maybe only $1 million we would have saved off of him. But by that point, I mean, I don't think that 7th rounders got signing bonuses. So I don't think any prorate hit. I'll check here quickly to see if there's any proration or dead cap for, look at the dead cap for Presley Harvin. Nope. Presley Harvin is not on the board for dead cap. And guys, these are low. Oh, yes, he is. No, he is. There is a dead cap for Presley Harvin. I stand corrected. The dead cap for Presley Harvin is $20,000. Nothing. That's absolutely nothing. Like, you're talking about, like, dead caps usually hit you when they're about 10 mil. Still, Chooks was 3 mil in dead cap. He saved us about somewhere between 8 and 11. Mitchell Trubisky, 4.6 mil in dead cap. I think he saved us about 5 or 6. Now that I'm trying to remember and I see these numbers. So that's about what we saved. So getting 5 or 6 for 4.5 for a guy that's not even going to be your backup quarterback, smart move. Getting 8 to a 10 for a right tackle that lost his job, smart move. Kendrick Green, we're still paying dead cap, $236,000. He's our next highest. And then everybody else is $20,000 or less. Trey Norwood, Presley Harvin, Tanner Morgan is at 16. David Perlis, 10 mil. 9 mil for James Nigman Wadda, whatever he is. Monte Petitbom at 6,000. Sorry, 9,000. Jordan Bird, 5,000. BT Potter at 3,000. They don't even matter. They're not even a blip on the radar. Not even hurting us. And we got 7 picks next year. a first, a second, a third, 2 fourths, a sixth, and a seventh. Good drafting, good spots. Not having a fifth, but having a second, fourth is a bonus, and they're back-to-back picks. 119 and 120. We can do some motion in this draft. We're starting off with pick 20. That's where we got Kenny Pickett. Going to be a good player there. This is the last year for the COVID draft. Last year of 5-year players this year. So it's another thick draft, the last of the thick drafts. We'll have to see what they do. Even if they cut $40 million and have $25 million, it probably still won't be as big of players in free agency as fans that they want at this point. But they still have to be many more cuts coming. Not necessarily. There's still the 51 rule, Robert, and I forget when that comes into account. You have to be like have all 91 players under cap at one point, and then it comes down to the 51 rule when you get to the final roster, where only your top 51 players count against your cap. So it's, it gets confusing. It does get confusing at that point. But we still have to consider, like, when we get to training camp, some of these rookies or younger players, undrafted rookie free agents, maybe one of our future players may be out a vet. That's instant savings every time that happens. So we'll have to see for that. TJ, AFC DPO, always. But not, AFC Defensive Player of the Year, but not NFL Defensive Player of the Year. It is, I can't even understand what they were thinking for this draft, especially after what kind of assholerish shit. I've already ruined this podcast, so I'm just going to keep swearing. That fucking Garrett did with that whole braining our quarterback with his own helmet. If Mason Rudolph fell to the ground and convulsed and was taken off the field on a stretcher, Myles Garrett would have never played a down in the league ever again. Had to make up a lie about this Christian saying that he would have said the N-word with Pouncey next to him. With Pouncey saying, my quarterback did not use that fucking word. Myles, you're a fucking liar. You don't deserve any fucking kudos for having no stats better than another guy in your division. Zero, zilch. No stats better than a guy in your division. Die in a fire, or worse, finish your career in Cleveland. Myles, the good Myles. He led the league in every single stat defensively, and you're still going to tell me Garrett won. The NFL had an agenda that no one can say otherwise. Guys, now you're learning. The agenda before was against Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger is not allowed to win a single award because of all those allegations. Got to the Super Bowl. No chance can he win Super Bowl MVP. He's the one that did the final drive. He's the one that threw every pass on that final drive to come back from behind. Mahomes does it, he's getting it. Montana does it, he's getting it. Young does it, he's getting it. Brady does it, he's getting it. Ben Roethlisberger, it's a fluke. Only like the second best ever quarterback at come from behind wins ever. Come on. All Myles suck. And miles to go before I sleep. Larry O and Pat Peake got to go unless Peterson go learn to tackle for the first time in his career. Actually, the thought would be to try to move Peterson to safety and take a pay cut. I would consider that move to Burrow, but otherwise I'm with you. He is paid too much on this roster currently to be on this roster for anything but an outside cornerback. Currently, his salary cap, 9.7 mil. His dead cap is 2.9. 987, that's 6.8 mil if we cut him. 6.8. That's something we got to consider. That's a tough cut. But it's one you got to consider. But if you move him to safety, drop his payroll down to 5 mil, we're still going to save 4 mil on that move. So that's something. Myles. I love all things Myles, but Myles Garrett isn't valid. Exactly. One consistent thing about the Steelers' last 13 years was lack of fundamental tackling, and unfortunately goes way beyond just the defensive backs' lack of tackling. And it goes from being able to tackle in general. Look at the league. You got missed tackles over the league. We watched the Super Bowl. Look at missed tackles in the Super Bowl. You're not allowed to hit anymore. There's no big hitters anymore. Take OT back, Rob. I'm valid. Miles, you the man. There we go. Debbie, what's up with Minka Parsons talking smack about TJ? I don't know. That's a Penn State player over on the Cowboys talking smack. I don't know. Myles Garrett must have something on the guy. I don't know. Appreciation. Mags, a shame that Cam H will not get the credit he deserves. Hall of Fame caliber, in my opinion. Actually, winning the Walter Payton Man of the Year award will give him a leg up for consideration for a Hall of Fame bid. Getting a possible Hall of Fame bid. So, Mags, I am optimistic that he can get mentioned there. He's got a shot of having the second most sacks in Steelers history. He's got a shot of passing Harrison. Let me see Cam Hayward's stats here. Because I know, TJ Watt right now, he's total at 96.5 sacks. Cam Hayward. Cam Hayward's total right now, I know he's in the 80s at least. 80.5. Harrison, who's the second most, and that is James Harrison. Second most sacks in Steelers history. He's at 84.5 sacks. So he's 4 sacks behind James Harrison, who James Harrison is going to start making some waves to become a Hall of Famer here in the next few years. And I think he deserves it. I think James Harrison is a Hall of Famer. Hell, then again, I think Lloyd's a Hall of Famer too, because I watched the guy play. Absolutely dominant, and people are afraid of him. If people were afraid of you on the field, that should be a leg up to the Hall of Fame. Lloyd's on there. Hines Ward is on there. When do we ever talk about a defense being afraid of an offensive player that is not a running back or a quarterback? They were afraid of a wide receiver in our league. They called him the dirtiest player in the league on ESPN or Sports Illustrated. Players voted him the dirtiest player in the league. They had their heads on a swivel for a wide receiver. A guy that changed the game with how hard and vicious he blocked, hit, never gave up on a play. Hines frickin' Ward, soul of a Hall of Famer. He will eventually get in, maybe not on the early end, but I believe he honestly will get in on the back end. I really do. The guy was so freaking good. TJ next year is going to be a murder spree. It's not even funny. Absolutely. Said that earlier in the show. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely agree with that. Broderick left tackle, and the guy had his left tackle last few years would be better at left guard. Our current left guard is most reliable, so he should touch the ball most as center. I'm fine with that shift. I don't think that's a bad shift at all, Robert. I can completely get behind that. Good take, man. Like that take. Miles and Stefanski winning coach of the year. Give me a break. The NFL is the biggest Browns PR team. Yeah. But honestly, I would give a Browns coach, any Browns coach making the playoffs is automatically going to get but the coach of the year. Though, I'm one of the few people that thought Tomlin honestly deserved it. I thought this was one of his best coaching years ever. Losing Cam for half the year, having the shit show that we had at offensive coordinator for this year, but still finding ways to win games, getting us in manageable situations where we could win games, not losing games for us in game management, except for the one game that we lost on game management. And that was the one game that the game after we fired Canada for it. That was when we used up 14 seconds inside a minute and a half. And then the other team goes and kicks a field goal and wins it. That was it. You don't get as many wins as Tomlin does by being a shit game manager. You don't. You guys are fucking wrong. You're just wrong. It's not even close. Hell, Reed could have been considered a horrible game manager when he had, oh gosh, who was his quarterback at the time? Oh, the great black quarterback up there in Philly. Shit, I love that guy. Man, but I mean, all he did was he was a complete game mismanager at the end of the games. Didn't understand down and distance. Didn't understand that overtimes could like end in a tie. Man, I like that guy. I actually have a jersey, a signed helmet of his. Maybe I can read. I'm going to go read my Eagles helmet just so I knew who the guy's name is. Oh, damn. I can't even read the name on that bad boy. DJ Shiznit. I'll look it up. I've been drinking, guys. Cheers, Steeler Nation. What are you guys drinking tonight? Roster. Oh, stats. Donovan McNabb. There's the D. Donovan McNabb. Donovan McNabb was a poor game manager. Absolutely piss poor game manager. Andy Reid is a better game manager. Now they're doing better. Cheers, Steeler Nation. Love you guys. All the tackles Steelers have gotten for over a decade now on offense are always right tackles. So that's a way easier position to fill. Absolutely. Absolutely, Robert. We've never been in a position to get a quality left tackle because of how good we've been. And that's throughout our history. That's why we don't have any Hall of Fame left tackle. We don't. Broderick Jones may be the best left tackle we've ever gotten, talent-wise. That's the crazy thing to think about because you can only get left tackles in the top 10. The best ones are usually gone in the top 10. That's why we had to move up a couple spots to make sure we grabbed one of the top 3 left tackles who the Steelers had as a top 10 pick. That was a smart move. Smart and savvy. And then we still traded back, got that extra pick back, and grabbed Nick Herbig. Freaking great. Got Washington too. I mean, what a great draft last year was. Man, love that thing. Up until now, Steelers kept trying to convert right tackles into left tackles. It's never been a problem for them to find right tackles. Absolutely. Press Graves, they should have given the biggest rapist of the year award to Deshaun Watson and bring down the hype. Exactly. Wouldn't Boyd be a good fit for this team? I don't know which Boyd you're talking about, DC. Please write back with the full name. What are you pouring? I am pouring. I went to Puerto Rico on vacation. Came back through in customs, and this little bottle of Chivas Regal was only 13-year Chivas Regal was only like $35. So I'm like, yeah, I'll take a flyer on a 13-year Chivas Regal. It's actually decent. I don't have ice in it. Drinking it straight. Smooth as silk. Cheers, Chivas Regal. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Drinking Yellow Rose Rye, my boy. Love rye whiskeys, my friend. Yellow Rose Rye is a great one. Smart choice, Robert. Patrick Paul out of, you guessed it, UH would be a great right tackle. There you go. Starting to pimp your guys already. Can't wait to read all of the great things that Cooley will have to say about Houston players over at SteelerNation.com. Click the forum button. Join. It's free. We're talking all the time in the offseason. This is where you need to be in the offseason. SteelerNation.com, football forum. Meant to say if Paul is there around round 2. Exactly. Yeah. Robert C. just triggered me to the last hair to sing Drinking Whiskey and Ride Till the Day I Die. Even if I am not drinking the rye, American Pie Bay. That's it, baby. Cheers all around. I do love, like, Bullet's another big one. I like regular Bullet, but I do love Bullet Rye as well. Jay, welcome to the show. What up, Stryker? Drinking whiskey and talking Steelers, man. TJ getting snubbed for DPOI. Dude, I actually swore on the show. I lost my fucking mind. This show's ruined. I'm still swearing. I'm drunk. I'm slurring a little bit. We've gotten to the hour mark. Starting to get to the end of the show here, guys. TJ being unfairly snubbed for personal award twice. It's cool because I like to root for the underdog. Personal accolades for not winning a playoff game, which is the first most important thing. Absolutely. Individual trophies are trivial comparison to winning a playoff game. You really need to stop sugarcoating your opinions, Stryker. That's why you guys watch the show. I give unedited opinions of the Steelers. And that's why you guys hear things out of my mouth that you don't hear from other things, from other entities. Other sportscasters are not allowed to talk the way I talk. And that's why I enjoy the live show with you guys. DC, thoughts on Cam's play last season, barring injury? Should we consider moving on? No. Cam is a team leader. He's under contract for only 1 more year. There's no way you move on from a player like that, especially since you have nobody to replace him. Nobody. I mean, we've had some good young up-and-coming players with Leal, with Loudermilk, possibly starting to thread in there, but still we have vets starting in front of them with Ogunjobi and Cam. So we're going to drop a peg if we get rid of somebody. Definitely think we're going to draft another one of those defensive ends that the Steelers like. Not in the top 3 rounds, 4 and 5. 4 and 5 looks like a target for me for defensive end for the Steelers. Jay, Minka can go flog a sheep. That's the nice way of saying it. Stryker, what head coach in NFL history has gone second longest consecutive years without a playoff win? That is the amount of the years anywhere close to the 8 years. 8 years? Only 8 years without a playoff win? I can easily look one up. Give me one moment. I'm going to the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to Marvin Lewis. How many years was Marvin Lewis the coach of the Cincinnati Bengals? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 years without a playoff win. Checkmate. Next question. Where are we at? Jay, Minka is still pissed. The defensive squad sucked arse in their playoff game. Yeah, it did suck. And also, honestly, like, I am going to actually point at Minka Fitzpatrick. Minka Fitzpatrick would actually one of the biggest parts of the problem for our playoff performance. That was his first game back from injury. He played like dog shit. And if he can't recognize that, he's lying to himself. We would have been better off keeping Peterson back there and having KZ next to him than to throw Minka back on the field because Minka looked like shit. And he was a big reason why we lost that game. Ricky Rush Rivera, Mitch is gone. Hip hop hooray. Though don't get me wrong, Minka's going to be the future. And he's moving forward, but he came back too quick from that injury and he looked like shit. Hines definitely deserves a Hall of Famer. No questions asked. Cam's dad, Ironhead, playing at Pitt when I was in college reminds me back in the day, walking up Cardiac Hill, and so happy his son Cam gets recognition. What a huge heart he has and time he devotes, especially to that city where his dad went to college. Absolutely agree. James Ferrier, Hall of Fame, please, number 51. I'd love for Potsy to get in there, Rocky, sorry. Absolutely would love that. Broderick Jones will be our franchise left tackle for a long time. It's time to move on from Moore at left tackle. I'm excited to see what Arthur Smith does with Washington. Yeah, that would be pretty interesting to see what he does. Because I want to see some more production out of our second tight end. Mags, Sierra Nevada celebration ale tonight. Excellent. Cheers to you, Mags. Sierra Nevada. Go Steelers. Oh, we love you, Debbie. We love you. You make this show fun. George, OTJ. Cam is flat out awesome. Not just a team leader, plain leader of men. And he's a leader of men led by a leader of men. He's learned everything he's learned from Tomlin. Absolutely. The guy, Tomlin's makeup as a human being, as a man, is unmatched. You can't say anything bad about what type of person Mike Tomlin is. And it is infectious, and everyone buys into it and runs through a wall for that man. Miles, he's talking about Minka Parsons. Oh, yeah. Screw that guy. TJ not being defensive player of the year is just another Cleveland criminal getting a pity nod. It's the biggest. I don't understand how they even got. Like, the way it went was like, the way that the voting went, it felt like, though I hate politics, I'm using an analogy of politics, not getting into politics, but it seemed like a minority whip got a bill to pass through because they made promises all over the board. And I think a lot of people got more money. The only way I can think that happened was people got paid off. Honestly, that is the only way you can put Myles Garrett over TJ Watt is if you pay them off. Because the PFF stats are bullshit. They do not mark real stats, and TJ clinched, locked down all the real stats the stats that matter, the stats that led to wins in our football team for this year, that was it. Money Mitch is going to be kissing titties for another team. I can actually say it tonight. Well, guys, thank you so much for being on the show tonight. You want to follow me? I'm at SN Stryker on the Tickety Talk, on the Grammy Grams, on the Tweety Tweets. On Twitter, I always post up before I go live. Also post up before I go live on SteelerNation.com in the football forum. I always start a thread. That's how Cooley and all our friends over there know to jump on over here. And the prior is very worthy of a lot of cussing. Thank you, George. Great to have you on the show, my friend. Always love having you, George. Oh, come on. I think that's heathen. Thanks, George. Peace out to you, my friend. Oh, heaven. Haven. Great show. Thank you, guys. You guys help this show be great. You guys, my daughter, my pets, my whiskey, my pot soon. That's how this show is great. But please go on over to SteelerNation.com for all the great articles at SteelerNation.com. Now you can follow them at Steeler Nation on Twitter. We won the Steeler Nation bid. Finally got that out. We don't have to be Steeler Nation with an I as an L. We are Steeler, Steeler Nation on Twitter, on X. Sorry, it's X. Sorry, it's... So follow us over there, but I'm the same handles everywhere. Starting to get back on Facebook here too a little bit, so might even post some ideas over there. But until the next time, my friends, thank you for being on the show. I'm still planning on doing the full out, draft show coming up. We're going to have some big shows talking about free agency coming up and some real ideas about who we think the Steelers should pick up in free agency. But, other than that, that's what we're rolling for. Thank you, Mags. Too damn drunk to finish a thought. Stryker's going to sleep well, always. That's the one good thing about my life. Live honestly, laugh hard, drink hard, party hard, you sleep well. Yes, sir. That's it, Jay. Thank you, Jay. Have a good week, my friend. All of you guys, have a blessed week. Have a great week. Glad to have you on the show. Till next time, I will be rooting along with you as always.